Here we go. What's up, anime heads?
Uh,
We're back. It's
We're
been
here. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
we're like a month and a half into the new year, so we're kind of late. But everybody has lives over here, and we finally found time to all come together. And I know,
Breathe.
like I said, we're late, and we're talking about some of the anime from 2024 that kind of caught our eye to bring up. Hey, this is something new we've seen. Not a lot of people have been talking about it, or maybe people have been talking about it, but we haven't talked about it on our program. So our plan is to talk about 2024 shows tonight, and then our next show kind of talk about anime that if not already come out, that is due to come out during the winter cycle of 2025, which already has some amazing shows on deck and out and about now. So, without further ado, unless you guys have something to add, we can play our intro and get into the proceedings this evening.
Yes.
All right, let's do it.
The following is a presentation of the That Feeling Podcast Network, reminding you to always question the answers.
Hello.
Dope, dope.
So, like we said in the opening, we're here to talk about anime of 2024, which I thought was a good year for anime all around. You had some continuations of well-established IPs, and you also had some brand new IPs based on some amazing manga that have come out. So, without further ado, we don't want to. Oh, before Jackie gets on me, do we have our shots before? Oh, oh. Well.
Should I go run really quick?
Yes.
Yes, Jackie, you can
Ow!
run. What? Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, reprimand Jackie.
Because she's the one that usually reminds us, like, bro, we didn't do our
Yeah, I
shots. And I'm just like, well, let me make sure I have my shot here.
Man, there is. You're not lying though. There's a lot of stuff last year and this year and leading into later this year. Just stuff to be excited about. Shows that are coming out that catch your attention. You're like hoping it's gonna be something else.
Yeah, 2025 is shaping up, if everything rolls out the way it's supposed to be another dope year for anime. And especially when the summer cycle comes through. I think some are going to come out in the spring, but already, like we were kind of talking before the show started with Sakamoto Days over on Netflix. I started watching that. Went to go read the manga. It's super dope. It's
It
a
is.
great. It's
They
a
have
great
a lot. I mean, they've been what 2015 or 2017 or something
Yeah.
when they started the manga, and it's just like it was kind of low key, and then it started exploding. People reading it, they're like, "Oh," I was like, "All right."
100%.
I
We good?
ran.
He ran.
Did.
We
Let me
appreciate the
ET for
hustle.
today.
We
ET
appreciate the
for-
hustle.
got some Maker's Mark.
You're shooting heavy. Must have been a
No,
long day.
I'm gonna do a little.
Oh, okay.
It
Yeah,
has
make
been
this
a
mark
pretty
good.
long
Long week.
2 weeks, though. I'm not gonna lie.
There you go. But we will do this toast. First of all, welcome back everybody. Happy 2025.
Welcome back.
Happy 2025.
And congratulations to our very own Jackie for the
I know,
promotion to
congratulations.
Master Sergeant
Aw.
in the world's
No.
greatest Air Force. So this is
Thank
to
you.
everybody who rocks with us and to Jackie and her family. So cheers.
Thank you.
Right.
Cheers, guys.
You know what? I think me and Tequila are starting to be cool again.
Ooh, that's adventurous. You're a brave man.
A little
When I've
bit.
had our falling out, I don't know if me and Tequila ever be back after our falling out.
Hey, I thought so too, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Come
When I was
on,
in
man.
Korea,
Prayers
man.
and promises from the last time. I don't know. I got to keep up with it.
Dude, when I was in Korea, to me and Tequila did not get along, but I was also drinking like, what was that? Jose Cuervo Gold.
Well, there you have
Like-
it. You know.
Yeah, like blacking out constantly. So we don't drink that shit no more. We're fancy, we make more money, and we're adults, so we drink Patron.
There you
or
go.
some Casamigos.
There you
or,
go.
Or some Azul, you know. I'll drop $90 on that.
Yeah, you know, you got to respect yourself at some point, you know.
Yeah, at some point you gotta, you get in your 30s and you're like, maybe I should not black out anymore and, wake
Or
up
if
on
you
the
do
couch.
blackout, it's on good stuff. So you're acting more like the upper part of society.
Now if I
I'd
black,
rather black out at home, though.
Yay.
If I'm gonna black out, I'd rather black out at home,
that's
not
the,
in public.
that's the key.
Yeah.
When you start learning that it's better to have drinks with friends at home than be at the club.
Yes.
'Cause you're like,
Exactly.
Yes.
I can get totally blitzed at home.
Exactly. And
I'm
for
all
way
good.
cheaper. I don't gotta pay $20
Yeah.
because I just spent $20, and this is definitely gonna make me black out if I drink this whole
There you
thing.
go. That and if you do have to go, fight with the porcelain god, that porcelain doesn't have like 10,000 butts on it.
There you
Yeah,
go.
right. Absolutely not.
Man, we were brave. Korea makes you brave. You just do some shit like,
It
man,
does.
I can't do that anywhere else in the world. I can't do that anywhere else in the world.
Absolutely not. That is not even like in this world.
Yeah.
That is a world.
It's
in
a
and of itself.
it's a dimension.
We're-
When you
Only
explain,
unacceptable action is allowed there. It's
yeah,
like, yep.
when you explain
every
wild
day, every-
shit. Oh, when I was in Osan, Osan. Okay, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, this is what happened. Everyone's like, yep, sounds about right.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
I did that too. One of those things.
Yeah.
But
Okay,
you
whatever,
too?
I
Me
guess.
too. Yeah. But we'll go ahead and get started. Eric, I know you were doing some research, and we had like the wild parties, like the better half of the last few months of last year and into this year to kind of look in it and find some things. But what's one of the shows that you picked up from last year and looked into and was just like, oh, this is something that you felt like didn't get a lot of the attention that more of the bigger ones were getting?
Yeah, I mean, to me, I went. Like I said, we all have seen all the big shows that have caught on. And I mean, they're fire. I mean, we
Yeah.
all love them, but there's a lot of stuff that's just beneath the radar, or it's been caught, but it just hasn't blown up yet. And for me, I also went and looked, and this is why my first pick is this. I went and looked because I'm trying to give Netflix their props. As
Yep.
far as being the American streaming company that they are, they haven't had the best anime record, but I have to say that they're stepping up their game, even with stuff that's created, stateside. But I was thoroughly impressed, surprisingly, with Gundam Requiem for Vengeance. Okay, I'm a Gundam fan, on and off, different series because there's so much Gundam out there.
Mhm.
But I was truly impressed with the fact that this is off of Sunrise Studios, the original OG Gundam stuff. But they brought it up, they polished it. They actually used CG, which I'm not a huge fan of ever since Berserk. I was like, oh, but
Oh yeah, that's bad.
they did a much better job so far as the new CG art going into motion. And a lot of times that's what cuts it up for me is the CGI when they get to the actual motion and combat.
Yeah.
Or just anything as far as seeing the character actions, it just starts to become blocky. But I have to say, Gundam Requiem for Vengeance, it's a short series. It actually touches on the original Gundam issues as far as if you're a fan of Gundam, it's a lot of espionage, a lot of intrigue and diplomacy between countries, but then it's also just mechs. If you like mechs kicking ass, and I mean adult themed kicking ass as far as characters get killed off left and right. Okay,
Yeah.
so it is more of an adult themed show when it comes to the plot, but the art was done very well. Produced by Netflix for Sunrise, but a lot of that was just taking art from the original creators, and then they went ahead and worked that in through the CGI. But you do see a lot of the
Oh yeah.
connection to the yes, very good, Kampachi's point there. But yeah, you do see a lot of connection as far as bringing back the old school Zionist army, as far as or Zeon army, and the Federation, and just the uniforms and everything. They stuck so true to the old school Gundam, and then but made it to where if you're new walking into this, it's done to where you could walk into this and get the feel of the whole like a summary of the plot. So you could walk into just watching this series and get kind of brought into Gundam as a universe.
Mhm.
But so overall, it goes back to one of the original, year 1 year war, which was a big thing for Gundam. Okay, the Principality of Zeon and then the Earth Federation. Okay, those are the two main battling parties anytime you're getting into a lot of the Gundam universe. But
Mhm.
this focuses on a particular elite mobile unit team, the Red Wolves, within the Zeon Principality of Zeon, and they're like, you got to think of them as kind of like the special ops, or the um, varsity guys of the mech units. Okay,
Yeah.
so these guys have been out there kicking ass. They're pretty much seen as by the rest of the Principality of Zeon troops is kind of like, I feel safer being with these guys. Well, as the story goes on, you're following that team as their first run-in with an actual like Gundam unit. The first time they ever see a Gundam EX model mech, and the way that it's presented does the story is very good. It's a focus on the characters of that Red Wolf army, or the Red Wolf unit within the army. So uh, you're seeing it from their perspective, which a lot of the other Gundam series you're watching it from the actual Earth Federation side. So it's kind of cool to get to see more, from the characters that are usually just, the bad guys, or the enemy that you see getting slaughtered. But the overall, it focuses on the Red Wolf Alpha, or Wolf Mother, of the Red Wolf Squadron. She's kind of the point of view for the most of the story that you're getting, her and her unit. And as it builds, it kind of, like I said, it goes into those plots that are a little more adult, or deeply themed, or associated with war. And anytime you're dealing with war and governments and diplomacy and so forth, or the soldiers out in the field, that's when you start getting into a lot of those areas where it's going to become a lot of philosophical or ideology that you're looking at. But the action's really good. Like I said, for the CGI, they're making their steps. You could see where they've incorporated it together with art before, but this
Mhm.
time almost the entire thing is done by the CGI art, and you don't have that frame loss with the action. So that I was impressed with. Um, they're with this series. It follows, like I said, it follows the female leader of that squad, and then as it carries on, it's basically her interaction with this one Gundam EX model. So you get to see the very intro, like a basic roll into the conflict going on, the Red Wolves coming into it, and then how the whole war kind of flips as soon as this new model Gundam comes out, and it kind of makes everyone sit back and take notice and realize, oh, this we're heading into levels of conflict where mass numbers and huge armies aren't going to be all that matters anymore. So
Right.
if you like mech combat, if you like um, deep storylines, especially anything centered around like the relationship between comrades in arms, the struggle, the seeing the both sides of a conflict and war zone, This series does a great job with that, and like I said, it gives Netflix that one more notch on their belt that they're working at it. They're trying to get there, and I think they're making great strides. They keep in this direction. Um, I think they're gonna do well, especially like me and Willie were discussing earlier, with all the stuff that's coming out now and the stuff that's catching people's attention. Netflix has got a bright future if they stay in this realm. And like I said, it's a good introduction to Gundam if you've never followed any Gundam series, because Gundam's got so many different. You got Gundam Seed, you've got Gundam Wing, you've got Gundam 08. You could go into all these different Gundams, and it's kind of overwhelming because you're entering a different time periods in this war. This is a good starting point for anyone who kind of just wants to see what the whole conflict is about. So overall, I think it's a good series. Does it have areas that could be improved? Absolutely. Anytime you're dealing with CGI over the actual drawn art, you run into that, in my opinion. But all in all, it does a very good job of bringing you Gundam, bringing you mechs, bringing you a good story, and I think that if they keep up with it, if they have another season, it'll catch on.
Yeah. So with Gundam, it's one of those series that has goes way far back. There's different stories that are being told in the universe that Gundam is in. Is this something like, as somebody who was never tapped into Gundam before, any of the sagas that have been produced, can they bring this up, watch these 6 episodes, and not be completely lost? Like, I don't understand what's going on, or
I think so, absolutely. That's a good question. But anytime you're walking into Gundam, like if you walk into, a lot of us got introduced into more of the Gundam universe when Toonami had Gundam Wing.
Yeah.
Okay. When Gundam Wing and Endless Waltz are masterpieces. Okay. When it comes to character building, the overall series being, but you can easily get lost if you step in, let's say, episode 10 of that. You're like, what? This one is a very easy. There's not as many facets to it, and it follows a small enough group and gives you the broader picture. So you can walk into this and go, oh, that's who the Principality is. That's who the Federation is. This is what they're fighting about. But it's not so in depth that you get lost, but it's enough to where you're like, okay, I got the feel of what's going on in Gundam, and now I know the sides, and I can watch this play out and kind of feel, okay, there's not just good and bad. It's not just black and white.
right?
Both sides have their points. So in that way, this is one of those good starter ones, I feel, to bring you into the whole thing. Will it cover all the depth and intricacies of Gundam? No. But if you want to have some basic knowledge and be able to say, hey, I know what Gundam is, or I can understand that, this is a good place to pick up. So I feel like that's also why they picked this up and put it on the streaming network, is because if they do want to go forward with Gundam, it's an entry level series, so it's good.
Cool.
Do you know if they're so I'm like reading some stuff on here about it. Do you know if they're going to continue this
I
on Netflix, or is this just like a one and done, and then you just have to branch out to like the older ones to?
It's tough with Netflix. I don't feel that this got the success level that Netflix wanted for it, but it's yet to be seen because it is relatively. I mean, it's only a couple months old. I think maybe less than half a year old. So
Yeah,
maybe
October.
if it's given a little bit more time on the streaming network and it gets more proliferated out to Netflix overseas, and it picks up that fan base, I think they might go with it, but it probably won't focus on the same characters. If anything, it may have the primary character show up again, but that's the thing with Gundam, is that often it will change into different characters when you follow each different storyline. So it's not so. That's why it makes it difficult to follow. If you, like Willie was saying, if you start way back in the late 70s, early 80s of seeing the manga for different mech wars and stuff, and then you start picking up into different Gundam stories, there's so many characters, so many, so I think that if this catches on, if people enjoy it and it picks up some following, they may go for a second season. But you know how Netflix is, they're very finicky with, hey, do I want to do this again? Even for stuff that people love, they'll cancel it the next season just because they feel like it didn't go where they wanted to. So it's always a risk with Netflix. That's why I said they're making strides with anime, is opening the door. But really, when it comes to foreign anime, they're picking up they're behind Crunchyroll, I'd say, a year or maybe more on just having consistency. So, you may see something pop up unless it's the big dogs like Demon Slayer or One Piece, of course. But when it comes to the smaller ones that aren't as huge of a fan base or not as on fire right now, it's a hit and miss.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Yeah,
I don't
and
know.
for a lot of these streaming services, I feel their downside is they don't really give shows or new IPs that are new to them a chance to breathe and like get that fan base. It's like they'll put one season out, it doesn't get the ratings that they want, and they just cut it, right? Instead of just letting it sit
Yeah.
there and give it a couple of episodes or a couple of seasons, at least two. I would say give something 2 episodes. If it's not really clicking, I get it, your bottom line, but you really lose on a potential audience. Getting to what you were saying, yeah, they'll go out and they'll get a Dan to Dan, they'll get a Demon Slayer and stuff, but Crunchyroll's already carrying that. So
Exactly.
putting money out there to get the exclusive streaming rights to something like a Sakamoto Days or something like that, where Netflix is where you're going to get it at, that's where they need to step it up and be like, let's get ahead of Crunchyroll and actually
And stick
offer
with
these
it.
countries or these
Yeah.
studios this money for exclusive streaming rights to these things. I feel like that's the only way they can really keep up when it comes to the anime thing. But I understand it's a cheap alternative because a lot of people already have Netflix. So then they don't have to go out and get a Crunchyroll unless they're like super dedicated nerds like us. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, I'm all for it. Especially a nice little 6 episode, about 20 to 25 minutes per. So you're only looking at about 3. Like you can crush it in a day if you want to just check it out and see what Eric's talking about. But yeah, that's a good choice, man. Jackie, what do you have for us?
So the first one I'm gonna start with is Frieren
Ugh,
Beyond Journey's End.
ugh.
If you haven't heard of this anime yet, I'm pretty sure you have because it was just the first. I feel like with the first season when it first came out, it didn't really start gaining any popularity until the end of the year, beginning of 2024. So it did come out in September of 2023, but the second part to season 1 didn't come out until March 2024,
Mm,
and that's when a lot of people started really talking about it. Was the beginning of 2024.
yep.
So the creators, a lot of the anime that I picked, a lot of the creators don't have a lot of stuff out there. Like they are also newer people. They're not just like creators that already have a bunch of stuff already created, which I think it's cool. So there's all these new people coming in, which I think then that means there's potential for uh, them to create more uh, manga, which means then we'll have all these newer creators coming out with a lot more and a lot more anime that will come too, which I'm excited about. So the creator, it was written by Kanehito Yamada and then illustrated by Tsukasa Abe. One thing I thought was really interesting when I read all this is that the writer and the creator have actually never met each other. So the
Oh,
writer
wow.
will talk to their not producer, but like the middleman, which is the person that's like the agent, if you will, and then we'll grab like the story and then take it to the illustrator, and the illustrator will then draw the pictures and then send it back to the creator and see if like that's what the creator wanted. And also like their faces are not known to the public either. So I thought that was interesting. Like they've literally never met each other. They've talked over like email. That's pretty much it. It is a shonen. There's 13 volumes for the manga if you want to read it. It came out in 2020, and then the total of 28 episodes for season 1, which I'm a huge fan of. 24, 28 episoders for like a season 1. I always love that. 12 episodes is good if you just want to try something new really quick, but I always love when there's like
Hmm.
24 to 28, which I think is really great for people that want to watch this anime if they haven't seen it, because then they can just binge it and have like something to watch for at least like a whole week.
Yeah.
Um, but if people don't know what it's about an elf mage named Frieren who grapples with life and loss after a decade-long quest to defeat a demon lord. The story follows her as she reflects on her past adventures and the passing of her human companions, a hero named Himmel, a priest named Heiter, and a warrior named Eisen. Because of her long lifespan as an elf, it makes her perspective really unique, and the series explores themes of like time, companionship, and regret. So it's very emotional personally, and because she does live that like super long life, time to her especially like a span of 10 years is like nothing. Like she thinks a decade was like just yesterday. Whereas for humans, like a decade is a very, very long time. It's a very precious amount of time because their lives are so much shorter than hers. The like openings, the opening songs, like really awesome. There's two of them. There's one for part one and part two. You know me with my songs. Um, and then there's only one closing song. They just do like a different version of it, which I always liked.
Mhm.
But overall, like the anime itself is just very refreshing. It's a different type of story. A lot of the animes that are made or mangas, the stories that are written is like the adventure starts at the beginning. This one takes place after the adventure has already ended, and there's a lot more self-reflection. She does meet new people, but it's a lot slower paced as she goes through to just try to. There is like a plot, there is an end goal, but it's not like this massive story that can just like build like a lot of other shonens that are out there. It's just very easy. And the art style is just amazing. I think the character development is awesome. Um, I did the manga won 14th manga Taisho and the 25th annual Tezuka Osamu Cultural Prizes New Creator Prize in 2021. It also got a manga award, 69th place, and a 48th place in the shonen category in 2024. So it's just been winning awards since it's come out. There's nothing really like anime wise that it's won awards yet. I don't think I saw the Crunchyroll awards that have come out yet for 2024.
Mhm.
Isn't that in March?
No, usually they do it towards the end. I know this is one of those the ones we were talking about pre-show. Kind of started towards the end of 2023, then rolled into early
Yeah,
2024. But I know it was getting a lot of critical acclaim in 20 at the end of 23, I believe,
yeah,
and also it didn't win any Crunchyroll awards, but a lot of these other kind of smaller anime, uh, you know, conglomerates, they were giving it a lot
yeah.
of praise. So, and having watched it myself, I was late to the show. I got there uh, once the latest season ended, but I was able to binge all through it, and I 100% agree with everything you're saying as far as this story as a whole, and on top
Yeah.
of the how they're bringing it from the manga to live motion animation. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's one of my new favorites. It's just very relaxing to watch, and it's very even just a little bit of cliffhangers and things you see. It's just she's already OP, but it's not like I don't know how to explain
It's
it.
not like
Like
a Saitama OP or
yeah,
yeah
or even like a solo leveling OP.
yeah.
It's different. It's really nice. The artists though that did illustrate the anime, they have also illustrated Beastars, Oshinoko, Monogatari, and then the studio's Madhouse Anime, which we all know
Yeah.
has created a lot of great animes. So I just really like it a lot. I thought it was just really awesome and different take on shonen. So I really liked the route that uh, the shonen um, that went with this. Yeah, that's my first one. I love it. You guys should really watch it. It's awesome. But if you are a very fast-paced person, I think it will be hard for some people to get into it if they're not for like the because I would say it's almost a little slice of lifey even with some fantasy elements because it is just slower pace. So it
Hmm.
just depends on like what you're looking for in anime.
No, it's more of a like a just a study on the main character in her journey because as an elf she lives way longer than most humans. So like you were talking about, there's they send you flashbacks and like little snippets of her initial journey with her first I guess guild, her first team to do their
Um,
first adventure, and you see her going back and seeing memorials and things of the heroes that were with her, going back and visiting them, and they're older, and her trying to open up and allow new people to be a part of her life, like this new team that she's building to go on this next journey. It's if you're into like any kind of RPG or anything where you have a mage, you have
yeah,
a melee character, a bar, like there she's just building her party, and it's just that she's OP, but like she is very wide. Like she's just not out here just being comical with it or being
Right.
cocky with it. It's in proportion, and she only levels up and does that shit when she needs to. Which one of
Right.
the when she's fighting the demon, and she's just that whole scene with the scales, like my power stronger than
Oh,
your that just that scene in
yeah.
itself. I'm just like, bro, that's so slick. Like I love that part. So if you
Yeah.
haven't seen it, I'd recommend checking it out over on Crunchyroll, by the way. I don't know if it's on anything else, but at this point, Crunchyroll just absorbed Funimation, and I think High Dive's still doing its thing by
Yeah,
itself.
High Dive's only got like, at least when I saw it, because I got High Dive only to watch Oshinoko, but now Oshinoko's on Disney Plus.
That's what I'm saying.
So I don't really know what High Dive
Brings to the table anymore.
offers anymore, unless they take over all of the older animes now that no one's gonna have access to anymore because they're getting rid of, and they're really like cranking down. What's the word? Harping on all of the pirating sites, and they're really starting to like find them and shut them down.
Yeah.
So you
So I
won't be
think
able to find them on YouTube and stuff anymore. Yeah.
I don't. Well, I don't know about YouTube. I think YouTube will still have like some of the older ones, but not all of them are on there. So
Mm-mm.
like yeah, there's several. Like I can only watch it unless I went on a website like Kiss Anime, and
Yeah.
that's the only place that it was located.
Yep.
Yeah, watch it, love it. It's great. Opening and closing songs great. The artist is awesome. They're also new, so they don't have any like other animes they sung for. So
Cool. So my first one was kind of an obscure, like out of nowhere. Like I was watching a YouTuber who is just, I guess, dedicates his life to just staying up on what anime is coming down the pipe. The channel is Mother's Basement. I don't know the dude's name, but he was mentioning when he was talking about coming down the pipe. There's an anime along with what Eric was saying when you get these mechs, these giant robots you get in there, and it's just takes me back to Transformers, Voltron, all of these things. So there's a anime out there called Brave Bang Bravern, right? Only 12 episodes. It's on Crunchyroll, and when I say it's one of these anime where, and I'm really big on not being fans of any property where people are like, yeah, you just got to turn your brain off and just enjoy it. This is one of those things because, like I said, only 12 episodes, about 25 minutes max per episode. So, you're looking at less than 6 hours to crank this thing out. But yeah, it's created by I think the biggest thing that was hyping this thing up is the director and kind of the designer for the mechs is Obari Masumi, who was very popular when it comes to designing the mechs for Gundam. He did some work for Transformers, like showing people how to kind of do that back in the 80s and leading up. So anything with mechs, he's probably behind it. So when he just came out of nowhere and is just like, hey, this is an original animated series, no manga behind it. I'm writing this and I'm directing it. A lot of people were hyped, like this is the return of the mech anime, right? And does it fill that hole a little bit? Yes. But when you're looking at a Gurren Lagann or a Gundam or Evangelion or like things like that are just
Very
the
deep.
core, very deep, and they have so you don't really get that because they only give you 12 episodes and there's no second season on the way. It's like a 12 episode and I'm out type thing. But
like a one shot.
it's pretty cool because it's in the future, and the militaries across the globe, they all use these mechs now instead of just sending people out there on foot, called Titan Striders, right? So TSs. And they're pretty dope. Like they're on Hawaii. They're doing like, I guess what would be their big, what do they call it now? Pac Rim, when they go and do all these forces come together, they simulate war, and then afterwards they have these celebrations and stuff. Kind of, if you watch the horrible Battleship movie starring Rihanna and the rest of them, it's almost like that. They're doing their exercise, and the two main characters, I would say, is there's a Lieutenant Io Asami from Japan. He's like their best pilot, and then the American side you have, and I love like when Japanese try to just an American character. His name is Lewis Smith, and I'm just like, bro, the most American, like just generic, just two last names, Lewis Smith, you know. But blonde hair, blue eyed dude. I'm just like, yeah, that checks. Let's do it, you know.
Yeah.
It's the American.
Yeah. But so yeah, they're doing the rim pack, and then you know they do their exercise. You know, they amp it up. A lot of soldiers die, but Lieutenant Asami, he does this thing. He's like a prodigy when it comes to piloting these things, and they cancel it. Lewis, who grew up in the States, I guess back then as a kid, you know, he's seeing these Titan Striders, and he's watching. He's a big fan of like the Japanese Sentai things, the whole mechs, Voltron. He's just like, I want to be a hero. I want to drive these things. So his whole thing is, I want to be a hero, right? I just want to get in this thing and do great stuff. So after the exercise, obviously, all of a sudden, these magical, just out of nowhere, evil robots show up called Death Drives. And they show up and they start wrecking stuff. They're just destroying Hawaii. They're destroying Japan and stuff like that. So they're going out there with the Titan Striders and alien technology. They have shields. It's almost like Independence Day / Battleship / you know, it's all of the things that kind of hit the endorphins, and you're just like, man, all of this shit, like, this is what I'm here for. But the first episode, you know, they're getting their shit pushed in pretty much. Then out of nowhere, when things look the bleakest, this magical mech comes out of nowhere, and this is Bravern, right? He lands. He's the only one that's able to like defeat these things. But in order for him to reach his full power, he needs somebody to operate him from the inside. So he's just like, Asami, you have to be the one to do it. Like, nobody else can function me but you, Asami. So they fight off the first wave. Everybody's hella suspicious. Like, where the fuck did you come from? Why are you the only ones that can fight these things? X, Y, Z. You know, like standard military shit. Like, thanks for helping us, but WTF. Yeah, WTF. Are you with us or against us? X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
So throughout the thing, Asami and Lewis, because Lewis is just like, I would like to, you know, he's like, Asami, you have to keep piloting this robot because he's sentient, and like when you and him pair up, the things you can do to save the world is amazing. And Asami's just like, I don't know. I'm still kind of suspicious. This robot comes out of nowhere. I go inside of him, and then, you know, the funny thing is, and it's a lot of comedy where you can look at it almost like a slapstick, because when Bravern is talking about how powerful he is in the chemistry between him and Lieutenant Asami, he's just like, you know, when he's inside of me, I feel everything flowing, and it burns, and it comes to you know, the military people are like, yo, chill. Like, we get it, you know? So it's a lot of that. So it's funny, but you know, like it's
funny.
It's cool how Japan is just so like cool, just being the double entendres
All
and
the
stuff like
sexual
that.
freaking
Yeah,
jokes.
yeah. Over here in the States, they'd be like, ooh, yo, we can't be saying stuff like that, or everybody be saying pause. But it's just, you know, you get several death drives that come through. You fight the first one, and then 2 more show up, you know, in Hawaii for the second wave. They send and it's also, you know, they got AWACS and stuff trying to help out and do good. So like, you're watching it, like we all get it. We've all been controllers, and we're sitting there like,
Yeah.
really? Really? Do you do that? You know, they got Global Hawks doing stuff, and I'm just like, really? That's how it works? So I appreciate them making the attempt,
funny.
you know. And the funniest thing, this is military stuff. They're like, the AWACS is up, and then they show the plane, and it's a J-Stars, and you're just like,
Oh, that's funny.
Oh man, hey, they got to give J-Star some love.
yeah.
Okay,
I'm like, bro, you could have hit me up. I could have at least showed you what they
Yeah.
look like. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
anyways,
Yeah.
but no, it's just it gets further in, and like I said, I don't want to give too much. It's only 12 episodes, but the biggest part for me that I liked, and the kid in me, is just, you know, different nations, because Germany was there. All these countries come together. It's like Independence Day. Everybody puts their differences to the side. They're like, hey, we got to come together. We got to share tactics. We got to share this in order to save the world. A lot of countries are like against it at first, but you know, after they see the threat, they're like, okay, let's get together and make this work. So Smith and Asami, you know, they form a bond because they're both about that business. And there's a part in it where they start doing this whole time loop and time travel plot where it starts to lose me for a bit, and that's the part where I just had to turn my brain off and just let the show be the show. But at the end, like I said, I didn't invest too much of my time. It's not like I sat there through 24 episodes and was like, yo, what the hell is this? So a good 12 episode watch. It's by Game Pictures, which Games is the video game developer that develops the action RPG. I think it's Grand Blue, and they have different games and stuff like that. So they're trying to get into animation. This is their first attempt. I guess they're trying to see how it works. Looking at reviews, it's hit or miss. Like, some people are just not a fan of the plot, not a fan of the comedy or the attempted comedy. I thought it was pretty cool, but that's my pick. It is Brave Bang Bravern, and it's over on Crunchyroll. 12
I
episodes.
saw it on a couple lists, so it was people have definitely got eyes on it because it's on that hey, you might have missed this, but it's fire kind of list, So
yeah,
I have to check it out.
But that's what I got. What's another one you got, EJ?
Okay, so my other pick is called The Unwanted Undead Adventurer.
Ooh.
I wanted to see that.
Ooh.
Yeah, I've been watching it, and apparently it's written by Yu Okano. The manga is, and then its original run was September of 2016, but it's still ongoing. So they only recently picked it up to as an anime and released it this year. It's produced by Mitsuru Nambar. I'm sorry, I'm going to butcher some of these names. And Takashi, which makes no sense because they're my people. But I butcher it all the time.
Disappointment.
Yeah, I know. The music is pretty good. I mean, the music's pretty good leading in. It kind of felt like when I first started watching it, because once again, my research, I was looking at stuff that was a little bit more obscure.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it came out this year, but it wasn't or it came out last year, but it wasn't something that everybody was flocking to. So I checked this one out, and actually, I was decently surprised by the story. Once again, we're going back to story, kind of like Jacci hit on with her selection.
Mm-hmm.
This one isn't super fast paced like a lot of shonen. It's not like crazy action from the onset. The art is good. I wouldn't say it's excellent, but it's good enough to tell the story. The story, though, is pretty interesting because the main character, as you're introduced and it carries on, from episode 1, the main character dies. So you're following this guy. It's like not even 2 minutes into the story, and the dude gets
He's done.
He's unalived by this giant monster, and you're like, wow. But that's the whole point of this story. That's why it caught my attention, and I started watching it, is because it's interesting. He's dead, but he's undead. So he comes back as a skeleton, and he's kind of talking you through the mistakes he made. So basically, it's your average RPG kind of fantasy setting, okay? And it's spoken about like a video game, because he's talking about how he's a bronze level adventurer, so he's not very high. He's like, I'm not one of the better ones. I'm working my way up. And he kind of gives you an introduction to himself. He says, it gives you the feeling of the old school MMORPGs where he's talking about he has to go to the low level areas and grind. He's not the kind of guy that's part of a team. He's like, I go solo because I'm not really that good. So he kind of is explaining this, and basically, as the story develops in the first episode, carrying you in, he basically comes across an opportunity that's like whoa, I found something no one else knew about, and in pursuing that, he ends up dying. Okay, but in a parallel that I like, and this is just me going off on a tangent, but if you're a fan of the Souls games like Demon Souls, Dark Souls, in those games, you lose your humanity. You become a skeletal or a desiccated version of yourself until you've gained enough energy back to where you can become human again or mortal again. In this, that's his goal. He's trying to return to life. So he's just a skeleton. He's wearing this, low grade armor and stuff, but he's adventuring forward because he's like, I've got to find out if I can come back to being a person. Okay. And he meets these people along the way, and a lot of it's just his interaction with these other adventurers and him slowly becoming a better adventurer, even though he has failed as far as you can. That's as big as you can fail. You die.
Yeah.
I mean, he's dead. But his um, motivation and his drive, even though he's not the greatest, but his just want to, to achieve these things draws those people to want to help him. So it's only 12 episodes long. It's well written as far as the character acting too. The voice acting is done pretty well. It's interesting enough to hook you as far as you want to see where he's going to go from here and what all of it means, because one of the things that ends up becoming part of the story is he has this mask that he wears, and it's part of his appearance. But he, as things progress, it's almost like, I don't know if it's a destiny or something, but it's almost like it's part of his destiny to go through this. So, like I said, it's only the first season's 12 episodes. It's a real easy thing to get into, and just if anything, I like the characters and I like the difference in the story. He's not OP. He's far from OP, but his heart is OP. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
he's gonna keep trying, even though he's a straight up skeleton. I mean, he's just a skeleton with armor on. So it's strange rooting for him, but you're just like, I hope this guy gets his humanity back. But it's a cool show. Hopefully you guys can check it out and like it. I hope that they continue with it. Right now, it's only on Crunchyroll. It's from Studio Connect. It's licensed through Crunchy. It only aired in January of 2024 with 12 episodes. They are talking about releasing more, so we'll have to wait and see. But if you got some time, check it out. It's short. Like I said, it's short and sweet, 12 episodes. It's worth checking out if you just like that fantasy genre with just a different type of character, because it's kind of in a way, it kind of touches on that solo leveling. Like, you're not the greatest guy, but then you work to become better. But he's so not even on that level. So it's comical. But the title alone has caught my eyes. Once again, the title is The Unwanted Undead Adventurer, because he kind of has no buddies, but he starts to build up a file or a team as it gets towards the end. Or at least one person is that they will go with him to try to get his humanity back. So, check it out. It's pretty fun.
Yep. So there's some, like, for the 12 episodes, I know I'm looking at it and it says that there's 14 volumes of a light novel. I think they're over on they might be over on Shonen Jump based on the shonen aspect of the thing. So if you're watching and that does pique your interest and you want a little bit more on it, you can just go over there. And I know, like, last I checked, like, it was like $2 a month to subscribe to Shonen Jump to go over there and read those.
Oh,
so,
yeah, it's really cheap.
Yeah.
And if it's from 2016 till now, you have a lot of content you can go check out.
Yeah.
So
100%.
Yeah, and I didn't realize this, but for anyone that's watching too, like, if you don't know the differences between shonen, shoujo, and I think it's seinen. Shonen is usually geared more towards young teenage boys.
Yep.
Shoujo is going to be younger girls, so that's where your romance, your slice of lives usually are.
Yeah.
And then your seinen is going to be adult men, which I think is interesting that they have these genres, and it's like only one of them is focused towards like young girls, but then the one seinen is just like, adult men.
I don't really know a lot of sign-in titles. Like, I've seen it a lot where they throw it out. Like, it's cool that you're showing the categories.
So one of them I'm going to talk about is a seinen.
Okay, cool.
For my anime today.
Yeah, it's rare to find something that's really popular that falls in that category.
It's more mature.
Yeah.
Anime. So it's going to be like, hentai's not seinen. That's just hentai. That's just straight up like what it is.
Different mature.
Yeah.
Different maturity there.
You on Pornhub for that. So.
Yeah.
But I think that ReZero, no, not ReZero. What's that one where the dude is like, I think Goblin Slayer might be a seinen.
Yeah, that
and
is.
And then I think what's the other one where like the dude gets reincarnated and he starts raping all the girls?
Oh, the
Redo
of Healer. Yeah, Redo of Healer.
Yeah. So that one's not a hentai because it doesn't show everything, but I think that one's a seinen also.
Oh, well, maybe that's why seinen isn't that.
But those are extreme. I'll say those are more your extreme.
Yeah.
You can also have a good mature like anime that's like there's mature elements into it.
Like Attack on
But
Titan, I would say that is a mature.
Yeah,
Like
that would strike me as more
Yeah.
mature
nobody's
level.
jumping like straight from Naruto over to Attack on Titan, thinking like, yeah, the power of friendship's gonna get.
yeah,
Is he gone? Oh, he's
Straight
dead.
up
Okay,
murked.
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking
Like
that.
Berserk is considered a seinen. Tokyo
Oh my
Oh,
Ghoul
God, yeah.
is was Vinland
okay,
Saga.
Tokyo Ghoul. That makes sense. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
so and Berserk, if you know, like it's not just like there's weird things that happen in it, but again, that's the mature part.
Yeah.
So
It approaches it from where you have an adult understanding, so you can
yeah,
watch that without just giggles.
yeah. I just thought it was weird that it's like primarily adult males. I'm like,
Yeah,
Maybe in Japan they figure adult
what if I
women.
like it too?
yeah. I don't know. Like I know plenty of adult males who like the slice of life stuff too, which
Yeah.
is basically categorized only for young women, but it's very popular over there. Like I said, my mother was just there in December, um, and she says you'll see grown men in that section. Like, they've been following this manga forever, and that's their thing, And
Oh,
hey,
we can't hear you, Jackie. Whatever you did, you muted yourself.
did I mute myself?
No, I can hear you, EJ. I'm saying Jackie.
Oh,
I think she took her thing off the charger and whatnot. She's like, oh, I gotta check stuff. No, it's all good. But
All
no,
right, can you hear me now?
yeah, we got you.
Okay.
I'm glad Jackie covered that because those three categories, like I always see shonen, and I never really paid attention to that.
Yeah.
You know,
And shonen, because this is teenage boys, that's like your adventure action. That's why, like, typically for shonens, you're gonna see like that's why Frieren is not your typical shonen because yes, it's action adventure, but it's also like a female lead with a little bit of like I wouldn't say romance, but you would say like that. Not a lot of teenage boys would be more interested in that. It's not like your typical teenage boy audience. It covers more of a wider audience, which
Yeah.
maybe this is what shonen and shoujo and seinen usually are, but I think it's just changing and evolving as like the years go by and people are realizing anime is not just for the country of Japan. There's a lot more people interested in it and a lot of different types of people interested in the different genres.
true.
Cool. What you got up next, Jackie?
Okay, so this one is called Apothecary Diaries.
Nice.
When I saw this one, like, I saw it like advertised a lot, and I was like, oh, I like the cover. I really liked the art and like the colors and the cover, and then I kind of read it, and I also like, I realized that all three of the ones I'm recommending all are female leads. I didn't realize that till after I was like sitting here thinking about it. So this is
That's all
also a
good.
female lead in here, but I really like this one because this one was also different, and it's a mystery kind of anime, but it's set back in like the hold on, I want to make sure that I don't like right there. It's a lighthearted historical drama featuring episodic medical mysteries. The story takes place in a fictional country modeled after Ming era China. The main character, Mao Mao, is a teen girl who works as a servant to the empress concubines. And I tried to look up, like, is everything that's happening pretty accurate? No and yes, so it's gonna be a little like over dramatized and like not super realistic because it's an anime. But they
Uh-huh.
did say that like a lot of the traditional and like back during that time era was pretty realistic, and some of the medicines were, some of them weren't. But
Oh.
the whole thing is it follows this girl who her dad used to be a doctor and she was living in like the slums essentially, and she was working at one of the brothels, but she wasn't one of the like workers that the customers would buy. She just helped the people who worked there with like remedies, helping them like look beautiful, say beautiful, and she just like learned the ways of that. But she primarily like loves to be live in an apothecary. But one of her unique things is she loves testing poisons. So that like gets her all excited to like literally take something, and she doesn't care. She's just gonna rub it on her entire arm, and like at one point you see like her arm is just like really fucked up because she likes to try different things to see what the reactions are, and she gets
Yeah.
really excited. And in the anime, it's very comical. Like whenever someone says like, "Hey, that this thing might be poisonous," it shows that she has like cat ears that pop up because she gets really curious and she like wants to try it and she gets excited, and everyone has to like hold her back and tell her like, "You're not trying this poison." Um, but she ends up getting kidnapped and taken to the emperor's palace, and that was like typical back then. Like women would just get taken and then they would just end up being like servants at the palace basically, so she got
Mhm.
sold. And she kind of like, it's funny because she just like the way her demeanor is and her personality, it's not very like a pick me girl. She's very much just like, I just want to pick herbs and try poisons and not care, but she's very curious. But she so when she gets dropped off, she's like, oh well, I guess this is where I am now. She just starts like doing her job as a servant. But then something happens where someone's like getting sick or whatever, and of course she has to like use her talents. She gets recognized by one of the what are the dudes that are called when they don't have like a private area? But they're not priests, but they're
Unix.
yeah, a eunuch is like, hey, you have a lot of knowledge. Can you figure out like what's going on with this girl? And it just goes through the mystery of her like using her knowledge of what her dad has taught her to now like find out what's wrong. And then she realizes this woman was like getting poisoned, and it's as simple as like the foundation she was using that people were saying were really popular was like seeping into her skin and making her sick, and it was causing her to like have like multiple miscarriages and stuff. And it just goes through like the whole entire there's a season one with two parts, and then season two just started this year, so right now I think there's about 5 episodes. And it's just like a mystery drama where she's navigating through palace life, and she's helping out the concubines there and just trying to figure out like who's trying to like basically like either ruin the emperor's ability to like have an heir, or hurting like some of the concubines. And it seems like there's a bigger story to it, especially there is some romantic elements between her and one of the eunuchs. And like you learn like a little bit like for her, she's completely oblivious. She's just like doing whatever she wants to do. It's more so him
Right.
that is like interested in her, but she's just like, why are you looking at me like that? And
Yeah.
then she like moves on. So it's very cat mouse, cat or yeah, cat mouse type of game where he's really chasing her, but also trying to keep a distance because she's not interested.
Yeah.
Um, I like it though; it's funny. I like the mystery drama to it too. You're like, oh shit, is she gonna find out like what's going on? Some of it's sad, but the creator and illustrator, same thing. Like you have two different people. Um, uh, but it looks like when I read it, it was illustrated and first published in 2011. So it actually has been out as a manga for a really long time before they animated it, starting in October 2023, and then it's
Uh-huh.
ongoing. Fun fact though, the animation studio, it's Toho Animation and OLM. The manga was created by Square Enix,
Oh, really?
which is pretty cool. Yeah, so
Hmm.
it started off as a light novel in 2011, then it became a manga in 2017, and then now it's an anime. So it's been out for like a really long time. Um, it's it has won it's called a Picoma Award for both the light novel and manga adaptations, and it won the 2023 Anime Award for Best Mystery and Suspense, and it was also ranked 6th in Anime News Network's top 10 anime of 2024. So it was high up there, like just, and for people that don't know like who OLM is, they're the ones that are primary studio for making Pokemon. So
Hmm. Okay.
um, it's really fun. I really like this anime. It's just super fun. The dynamic too that she has with everybody, because she's not like your typical, like female character that's just like everyone loves her or something. I mean, people do like they flock to her, but like
Yeah.
she's just very ordinary. And I don't know. I like it. It's an awesome show. I think you should watch it, uh, especially for the mystery and the drama and a little bit of romantic elements.
Yeah. She's probably one of the more intriguing main characters out there because her. It's a. I'll just say I've never seen a character with kind of like this, this attitude, this outlook on life. It's just like Jackie said, she's about her business. I'm here. They see my talents and my skills. They're just like, hey, we're gonna make you like this, Frieren. You're gonna be the poison taste tester, all of this stuff. She's just like,
Oh yeah, I forgot to say that.
she's about this whole, poison. I want to see what this does to me, so I could. People are like, yo, you are crazy. Stop it. And then the eunuch you were talking about, Jacci, I think.
Yeah.
Like everybody loves this dude, like men and women. They be like, yeah, this dude is hot. And he's just
Yeah.
like, I want you. And she's just
He's like Sesshomaru and Inuyasha.
yeah. And, he's just like, whatever, I'm after her. And she's just like, whatever, I'm
Yeah.
about this poison life, So it's a.
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah, I forgot
it's
to
pretty
say
cool.
that she was originally picked up because they were gonna use her because back in the day they
Yeah.
had to have people trial the food and drinks
Yeah.
because they're considered expendable. And when she found out that she could be like testing poisons for a living and get paid way more and be able to send money back to her dad, she was like,
Sign me up.
hell yeah, I will do that. And then she doesn't die or anything
Right.
to a lot of them because she either can figure out what it is
Yep.
before she does it, or she has, since she's tried so many poisons already, it's not that her body's immune.
Mhm.
It's just she either knows what to do as soon as she takes it, what the cure is, or her body is just built up a tolerance, so she just gets like a little bit sick.
Yeah. It's a pretty good one. Again, it's one of those, if you just need to take a break from, constant yelling and powering up and explosions and shit like that. Not to say there's anything wrong with that, because I do partake in that as well. Your standard
Yeah.
shonen. It's a good break, just like kind of like Frieren is, like you were talking about.
Yeah.
So, a palate cleanser, if you will. That's a good one. Yeah, some of the ones you're hitting on, Jackie, I'm like, because I think it also won. It came in 4th place when it was talking about best animes of 2024. I forget what list it was on, but yeah, it's a pretty good read. I haven't read the manga. I don't know if it's on, if it'll be on Shonen Jump, but there's other websites and other apps you can go get manga. So I don't think Shonen Jump is the one all be all. So you can just type it in Google and find a place where you can read it and catch up on it. So
Yeah, I don't think it's a shonen.
mm,
Yeah, I think that might be. I don't know. Let me look it up.
no, it's a seinen.
Okay,
Yeah,
that
sorry,
makes
yep.
sense.
All right. So my second one, you can watch it over on Hulu. It's called Go Go Loser Ranger.
Oh, yes.
This show, I will say, is I don't know, a guilty pleasure, but again, 12 episodes. I crushed through all of them, and it is I think the phase of superheroes are people who are elevated and put on a pedestal in the eyes of the public to be, just integrity and the best of the best, cream of the crop. But in real life, they are just scummy and just running rackets and stuff. That is kind of what you're getting here. It's pretty much the plot. So 13 years ago in this world, an army came to invade Earth, but of course we had the Super Sentai Squadron known as the Divine Dragon Rangers, or they call them Dragon Keepers for short. Pretty much Power Rangers. You got your red keeper, blue keeper, yellow, green, and what's the third color? I'm forgetting, but pink. Yep, red, blue, green, yellow, and pink. So what ended up happening? The army came down. They almost got like eliminated immediately. And so all of their executives, generals got wiped out. The only things left would be their foot soldiers, equivalent to, if you remember Power Rangers, the putties, right? The people they just sent out there to get beat up before the Rangers even morph into their powers, right?
Yeah.
So they're kind of like shapeshifters. They can regenerate and all of that stuff. So the Rangers made this thing with them. They're just like, hey, you're not going anywhere. This is what we're going to do. And then so now it's like this commercialized thing where every Sunday they have a stadium. The foot soldiers come down. They recreate battles. The Sentai, the Dragon Keepers come down, win. They're all about merch. They got different squadrons. They're recruiting people. So they're pretty much like gods on the planet, and people are idolizing them. Except for this one foot soldier, which is Fighter D, right? And he's just like, man, this is some bullshit. I'm tired of going down there losing every week. Like, this is just ridiculous. I'm gonna do something about it. So he goes down there and challenges him. Of course, he gets obliterated. But instead of respawning back on the ship, he just respawns somewhere else on the surface, and he's like shapeshift into a regular person and tries to infiltrate the dragon squadrons to take them out. And one of the and it's awesome because one of the recruits for the dragon squadrons, she also is aware of who he is, but doesn't tell anybody because she too wants to take them down because she remembers what the Sentai, what the Dragon Keepers used to be like. They were legit fighting to protect people. And she doesn't like the fact that they are now just monopolizing on this stuff and taking advantage of it. So she's like, team up with me and we can take these dudes down one by one. So like just that plot alone, and you're watching it and you're like, 12 episodes, that's it. So you're just waiting to see how it unfolds. There is a manga and it's still going on. It started February 3rd, 2001 and it's still running. And then you can actually go to Shonen Jump and read this one over there.
2001?
Yeah, it's February 3rd, 2001. There's 17 volumes of it. The studio that animates it is YoStar Pictures, and I went to go see what they've done, and it's like some off-brand. I've never seen it, and then Loser Ranger. And I'm just like, well, if they keep up with what they're doing with Loser Ranger, I'm surprised it isn't as big as it is. Like, normally something like this, like nothing against Disney Plus and Hulu, but, like it'll get a run on either Netflix or, because not a whole lot of people are going to Hulu to watch anime. Unless you go to Crunchyroll and Netflix and it's like not available, then you go to Hulu. Like, well, Hulu has it, so I guess I'll watch it here with ads, But but no, it's an amazing thing, and I'm always about I don't know why. Like, I always have a soft spot of like, the villain that is the anti-hero that's like, I'm gonna come down and give these guys what they deserve, right? So
you can relate to it.
Yeah, the thing is, like, they can die like the foot soldiers. I know they respawn, but like if they are killed with certain weapons, I think the weapon they use, each of them have, I think it's like the divine artifact or something like that, divine tool. So if they use that and kill the foot soldiers, like they're gone. So that's why he's trying to just stay super incognito and try to infiltrate in and take these guys out. But each of the keepers, the red dude is obviously the leader. He's like the one that has the public persona, smiling, thumbs up, hey, everything will be okay. Yet the blue keeper is like the Raphael of the group. He's like, I'm gonna destroy all you people. He's the only dude with like a visible scar on his face, so he's seen some stuff. So each of the Rangers got their own kind of personality. I'm just, like I said, I'm watching this. I'm like, I'm surprised this hasn't gotten more buzz than it's gotten.
Attention.
Like in the summer, I know it was kind of big for a minute, but nobody's really hyping it up anymore. Maybe because it was only the 12 episodes.
You're waiting.
But maybe they're waiting to see what the next season is. But like I said, it's like I'm watching this thing. I went, like, after watching it, I went and read the manga. I'm just like, bro, I need to see. Like, if this doesn't get picked up and they continue the animation, or if they go around and do some weird stuff like they did with Promised Neverland and they give you like a fire first season and then they just ruin the rest of it. I would just say keep this, whatever company's working it now, just keep it here. But it's an amazing watch. But not unfortunately, the only place you can watch it is over on Hulu. So if you got his Disney Plus Hulu package, you should be able to check it out.
I should have that, but I don't know why I pay for them separately. I don't know what's going on there. But that's a different story. I always see it and I'm like, I do have that, and then
I could just combine them and pay one price.
I know.
But as of now, 20 million copies in circulation for the manga, so it's popular over there in Japan. I'm just hoping that it just translates over to the animated side as well. So
yeah,
sounds like it'd be pretty interesting, especially to carry it on for a bit, because it's a different premise on the main character being. I mean, you said anti-hero, and I mean I get that, but in a way, he's only an anti-hero because you're viewing it from the Earth side. From his side, it's probably like. He's a hero.
I mean, initially they were, because they came down there like, oh, we're going to invade and take over Earth. And then after 13 years of just getting your shit pushed in every Sunday, you're just like, I'm tired of this, man. Like,
I'm done.
Let us go. Like, you won. Let us go. But their fortress is chained down. Like, the Rangers won't let them leave Earth.
Oh wow.
So it's
Yeah,
just
that's
like,
dirty.
you'll continue to do this or we'll kill you. And they're just like, well,
Mm,
damn, all right, I guess we have no choice, you know?
mm.
But yeah, so there's slight humor. I would say that it's almost like a kaiju number 8. Like there's enough humor in it to keep you laughing, but then there's the deeper side of it to where you're like seeing
Yeah.
the full true colors of the, no pun intended, of the Dragon Keepers.
Yeah.
See what you
Cool.
did there.
Yeah, you see?
Yeah. See
Keep
that?
you on
No
your
fun.
toes. Keep you on your toes around
Big
here. Yeah.
brain, big
Yeah.
brain.
Awesome.
All right. What else you got for us, EJ?
All right, I have my last pick. I didn't get to finish it all, so I have to give that up front first.
Uh-huh.
I did get to check it out, but I didn't get to finish it all. But I do think that it's worth people checking it out. It's called the Elusive Samurai.
Oh yeah.
So it's once again, it's one of those from that list that people picked it up and said, hey, don't sleep on it. But not a lot of people have watched it. It's a remake from what I understand. So or retelling.
Mhm.
But the manga has 19 volumes. It started in 2021. It was a weekly issue from 2021. Excuse me. So basically, your main it's a period piece, and it's going back to the Kamakura era, feudal Japan. Okay, and basically, you're following the main character as a young man. Okay, his whole life he's just been preparing to become this kind of, I don't know, like figurehead, but not anything real. So he's not like a real warrior or anything, but he's born into this. So he doesn't have to worry about it. He's got all his servants and stuff, and he's kind of just the image of, hey, I'm gonna be a ruler. Okay.
Mhm.
But he is that I don't know, like the slacker any of us would be in the situation where you're like, hey, you're gonna be in charge, but you don't really have to do anything. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, so it's got that comedic element to it, as far as he's just that, a young man, the coming of age period where he doesn't really have to earn anything, but then all of a sudden, boom, there's a coup. Okay, so his whole world gets shattered as far as now you got to try to survive because they're going to hunt you down because they're overthrowing the government. So
It's
that's
pretty gruesome. Like it's
it
like
is.
in your face.
Yeah,
You don't even expect it.
That's what I mean. It's that funny, and then boom, So it's like,
Yeah.
but it
Crazy.
keeps that comedic feel for it. So that part is good. The art is good. It is very timepiece sets, but of course they're following very well because it's based on feudal Japan.
Yeah.
So it's very easy for them, but it's the color. It's very colorful. It's beautiful, but like Jackie said, it is very brutal when it comes to the reality of it all. But you're watching this character who his whole life hasn't had to measure up to anything, and now he actually has to become something. And it's there, but it's kind of like that thing, like it's there in the back of you, kind of like when you're told all the time when you're going through training and stuff. They're like, you're gonna fall back on your training. And I was like, what? But it's like that. He has to fall back on that to survive, and he has to rely on the people close to him that he may not have always been the coolest person to. So it's a coming of age in a setting where he has no choice, so he's forced along. So in that aspect, it's a man versus himself in a way, because he's got to overcome what his expectations were and become someone that he was only going to be pretending to be. So it's definitely interesting. It's a different take on the hero. He's not the best hero. He's not the worst hero. He's the I was never meant to be a real hero kind of guy.
Mhm.
So that's what brought me to it, my attention.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, it is brutal, but it flows very well. And I think being at only 12 episodes, again, we've all kind of picked these easy ones to pick up on for people.
Mhm.
It's another one that you can walk right into. I'm almost done with it. I think everybody else would enjoy that 12 episodes, knock it out, and then hopefully they'll continue this because it does have like 19 volumes to go through. So I do recommend it. It's a fun watch. Plus, it's done very well. The art and everything is beautiful.
So I'm looking into it, and they're just like, what did it say? He has an ability, superhuman ability to flee and hide.
Yeah,
He's
So is
it
he
really
like
is.
is he like the best?
That's
Like
why
he
it's
just
called the
fucking
elusive
that's why
yeah.
he's
samurai.
elusive. He's hard for them to
Yeah.
catch.
They can't catch him. He's the only one that's able to like get away from anything. So because he
Yeah,
can hide, he can
he's very
sprint
good at
away.
getting
Like
away.
Oh
yeah,
wow. Yeah, I
and it's
gotta
because
check that
like
out.
when he was younger, or when it shows it like in the first episode,
Uh
anytime they're looking for him, they want him to do something. He's like absolutely not.
Yeah,
So he
exactly.
just figured out
He's so
how
good
to
at
hide
slacking.
and
His,
not get found.
yeah, his slacking is carried over to him being like this ultimate
Yeah.
escape artist. It's like,
But then he's great. He's super
Yeah.
fast. You can't get him.
yeah.
yeah, so that's one of the skills of being a slacker is he's able to wiggle his way out of any kind of responsibility
dope.
before, and now that's his survival skill. So
Yeah.
That's the shit I want.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Right.
real.
Sergeant McCoy. Woof. He
Sure,
was
where you at?
he
Like,
was just here.
that's what Jackie needs too. They give
Yeah.
Jackie like 15 jobs at her unit. It's like, here you go, here's another job.
No.
Oh man, that's good. Yeah, I'll definitely check that out. Yeah, I also like that it's just the 12 episodes. So you just get in there and get caught up and spun up on everything. But again, Shonen, so it's on Weekly Shonen Jump. So if you're subscribed to the thing, you can catch the manga over there and read and possibly get ahead of it and know what's coming up because a second season has been announced. So
Yeah.
cool. All right, Jackie, what's number 3 for you?
Okay, mine's a little mature. Okay.
Oh, is it?
Um, yes, this one is called Yakuza Fiancé.
Oh, that
Um,
was cool.
or
I
it's
like that.
also, if you want to say like the Japanese, it's Reizwa Tanin Gali. Um, but it's basically about like the Yakuza as it sounds, and
Mhm.
the main character is a female, and essentially it's a crime-focused romantic dramedy, if you will. There's a lot of drama surrounding it, but it is a comedy too.
Oh, yeah.
About this girl who's in high school, named Yoshino, and she becomes engaged to this guy named Kirishima, who's the grandson of a powerful Yakuza leader. She wanted nothing to do with him, but
Yep.
her grandfather like needed her to like get engaged to him. And she's like, I don't want to do this. And he's like, well, I need you to do this. And she's like, well, I'll go like meet him and I'll see if like I even still want to do this. Um, the arranged marriage is a power move between both of their Yakuza families, and then she ends up only agreeing to it in order to seek her own revenge. It subverts the "I can fix him" trope by corrupting Yoshino instead of reforming Kirishima. So the dude is like a huge narcissist, like I mean big time. Like
Yeah.
if you could like figure out what a narcissist is, it is absolutely
his
him,
picture.
and he has all of those character qualities. And he thinks that she's just another girl that's come here to like try to win him over or do something because he's like hot or this leader. When really like something happens. I can't remember if it's the first or second episode, but they end up getting into this fight, and he like basically tells her that he's gonna kill her, and if she like doesn't listen to him or whatever, and then she turns her whole demeanor from being nice, and she's like, huh, she's like, who the fuck do you think you're talking to? And then it just like switches, and they're like at high school where they're talking about it, and or no, so they were at something whatever, and then like at I remember what it is. So he like told her something about like sell a piece of your body or something like that. So she ends up selling her kidney for $4 million, and then she comes and shows up to school, and they're like talking shit to each other, and she just drops this bag off in front of him. And he's like, what is this? She's like, all right, this is your $4 million. You told me that I couldn't sell a piece of my body, and I'm just letting you know this is how much my kidney was worth. So here's your money. And he's like all of a sudden his face switches and there's stars, and he's like, I love you. Will you marry me? And now he's like, obsessed with her because she's psycho just like him, but it doesn't really show that. And it just goes to their dynamic where he's absolutely in love with her, but he's very serious. She thinks he's joking. So she wants to seek revenge. So she just says like, we're not married, or we're not getting married in a relationship, but I'll give you 1 year. I'll just stick around you for 1 year. And it just goes through like him being super sneaky. He's sleeping with a bunch of chicks behind her back and doing all these like sleazy things. She knows he's doing it. She puts GPS trackers on him just like he puts GPS trackers like in her phone and knows
Yep.
everything she does. He's a psychopath. And then she calls him out for it. She's like, "Hey, I saw what you did. If you just want to know where I'm going, you can ask." Also, and then she'll go behind his back and like show up when he's doing meetings and stuff, and she'll like pop up and like help him out. He's like, "What are you doing here?" And she's like, "You don't think I know what you've been doing this entire time? This is all the things I've been doing." And then he just falls more in love with her because he's like, "You hate me."
That's his
Because
kind
then
of
she'll,
crazy. Yeah.
yeah, it's funny. I like it a lot. Where it gets kind of mature is they like not a lot of anime will say fuck a lot and they don't swear a lot. This one does.
Yeah.
There's like gang, smoking, the tattoos. There is a scene where he's like, even in the opening, if you watch the opening song, there's a scene in it where he's like literally having sex with a girl. You can It doesn't show anything, but
Right.
it's like alludes to it. And even like if you look at like the covers of the manga, it's very like possessive. It's all about this dude who's extremely possessive over her, but she doesn't just let him do whatever he wants. And she also like puts him in his place a lot. So I really like it. It's fun. I am also a huge sucker for ro I like the slice of life cutesy romantic animes, but I also like the one where the dynamic is like very like back and forth a lot. And this one is definitely one of those ones where like she's just like knows what she wants and she's like, "I'm not getting married to you. I'm just using you. I hope you know that." And he's like, "That's okay."
I'm cool.
And usually he's the one that's using other women, so it's just like
That's why he
this
likes
whole
it.
thing.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah. But it came out in 2024. There's 12 episodes, so if you would just want to quickly get through it, it is going to get a second season. I can't freaking wait until it comes out. Manga came out 2017. The animation studio, Studio Dean, so that's the same studio that did. Even when you look at the anime, you can tell like the style looks a little old, but just updated with HD quality, if you will. And that's because it's done like Ranma Half, Rurouni Kenshin, old Rurouni Kenshin, Fruits Baskets, the 2001 version, and it did do some like most recent animes like Konosuba and the Seven Deadly Sins Dragon Judgment movie. Uh, but like I said, it's a sign in, and the opening. I will say this is the only band I'll say you should look at.
Oral
Their
Cigarettes.
band name is the Oral Cigarettes. Yep,
Ooh, they had a couple
dude.
of songs that were like close to making my favorite. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
oh yeah.
really,
Okay.
really great band. I like
Ah.
listened to that opening. I was like, oh man. I was like, I really like this band. And then I started listening to the rest of their songs. I was like, okay, I really like
Yep.
the band overall. So, and I love their band name. Like,
Yep.
whoever would think of calling something that sells the Oral Cigarettes is just sick. But yeah, just really the opening and closing is really great. And then they've had like I think it was like 2.8 total million copies, and the manga's won a lot of awards. Nothing for the anime yet. I think it's still too
Too young. Right.
new. And sometimes I think sign-ins, a lot of people are turned off by it, and not a lot of people have access to mature on Crunchyroll, especially if like parental controls
Mhm.
are. You have to actually go in and let yourself see like mature, like so it can come through your line. Otherwise, it's just going to show you up to.
What was the vengeance you're talking about? What's she trying to get vengeance for? Is like her family. You said they're both Yakuza families, right?
Yeah, so her revenge is, I think it's against her grandfather for putting her in that position. She didn't
Okay.
realize what she was doing, so she was just getting revenge on the fact that he was even doing that. So, hold on, let me see, like, I can't remember what she knows about. Sorry.
No, that's all
In
good.
Yakuza, sorry, I'm looking it up right now. Yeah. Oh, that's what it is. Her revenge is to manipulate and win over Kirishima's heart, only to break it by leaving him after a year of engagement. That's her revenge. So she's using her arranged marriage as a way to exact revenge for past humiliation he inflicted on her, playing on his feelings to hurt him deeply once she decides to leave. And he thinks that's the coolest thing in the world. So he just falls in love with her even more. It's pretty. I really like it. It's it's cool. I've never seen it like I've never seen an anime like this before, where it's more a mature dynamic, and it's not you don't see anything like crazy. Yeah, that's what it is. It says with encouragement from her grandfather, she resolves to seek revenge using Kirishima. Using her connections, she sells her own kidney and confronts Kirishima with the proceeds, which then led to him like falling in love with her.
Who doesn't fall in love with a girl with sell her kidney for you?
Right?
You told me not to do it. I did it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
get it.
she's like, yeah,
She's
I
down.
just showed you that I can do that, and I literally don't give
She
a fuck. Now
passed.
get out of my life. But yeah, it's fun. I like it a lot. Totally. If that's something you want to look at and look into, and it's more of an adult, they're still in high school, which I get, like, but they're like 17, 18 years old, so it's still, I think, like a young adult.
Yeah.
Will still find that entertaining. Yeah, I think that was one of my this year. I liked all of them. I loved Frieren, but definitely like really loved Yakuza Fiancé.
Yeah, I think it's on the list. I was putting together a list of stuff to watch, and I think that's on there. So I'll definitely check it out.
100%. My final one is more of the standard shonen. It's Wistoria, Wand and Sword, and came
Wondering
out
if you were
this.
gonna bring that
Oh
one
man,
up.
I had to. This. So the studio, I'll just get into it. It's Actus, and it's under a Bandai Namco Pictures. So Actus. Outside of this, I didn't know they kind of dabbled in. I think some of where they at works. Transformers, Energon. If you go further back, Classroom for Heroes in 2023, which I liked. It didn't get a lot of praise and whatnot, but pretty good studio. Then of course it's underneath the parent company of Bandai Namco Pictures, which is hit or miss because there's a couple of other Bandai Namco IPs that are out there like Blue Lock that is just I don't know if you've been following Blue Lock at all. It was like
I've been reading like reviews and some Reddit stuff, and I've
it
been seeing some
it was
lately. I've been
the
seeing some mixed new reviews about it.
yeah, it's not in a good spot now. Because what happened with that one is it's supposed to be the next big sports anime, kind of replacing
Yeah,
Haiku,
and it was. I
and
heard
it
it was like
was,
really
and
great.
then
Everything.
season 2 or the next season came out. I don't know what the animation is, but it's more like a PowerPoint, right? So it's a lot of still pictures with like effects. So like the dude will be talking and yelling about to kick the ball. He's like, "Oh, this is my special thing. Like I found my flow in my zone," and he's about to kick, and then it's just sitting there with like effects going on. Then it'll turn to another still of him like kicking, and you'll see the ball with a line saying that he curved it, and people are like, "Yo, what the fuck is going on here?" Right?
I think
Because
that's lazy. That's
because
probably lazy on the animation
the
studio.
arc that was going on was their team against the Japan under-20 team to figure out the future of soccer in Japan, and it's just the best athletes are playing, and you're just like, this is when you chose to get away from the previous animation company. So word on the street is that they have let that animation company, now it's under Bandai Namco Pictures, I don't know the actual studio that was doing it, but they let that one go. So I'm thinking when they come back, it'll be a new animation studio doing it. And there's a change.org thing, like everybody's like, Ufotable, please pick this up and do something with it. And
Yeah.
if they did it, I'd be 10 toes down for it. But that's neither here nor there. Let's talk about Wistoria. So right off the bat, it's like I said, 12 episodes. Get in there, watch it over the weekend. If you got a long weekend, knock it out. It's a good time.
4 hours. It's only 4 hours.
I'm telling you, get it done, and you will not be disappointed. Episode 1, you see the animation, you're just like, is Mappa fucking around with this? You're looking, and you go and look at Bankai. This is you. So it's if you watch Mashal or anything like that, Black Clovers, a dude in a world of magic. Magic rules everything. However good you are at magic, that raises your status in life. The main character, Will, he does not do magic, right? He's not good at it, but he's super smart. He researches monsters. He does everything well, but the actual casting of spells and doing magic. He has no wand. What he does have is a sword. The crazy thing is he's trying to be reunited with his best friend, who I believe her name is Elfaria, who was the youngest what is it? Magna Vonder, that is like the peak of magicians in their time. So once you reach that level, they take you up to the fucking tower and you just look upon the world and be like, that's it, right? So he's trying to get up there,
Yeah.
but his obviously the track to get up there with you not being able to do magic is difficult. So the way you level up in the school, you got to get points by doing magic exams and stuff, or you just bring back artifacts from monsters. You go down to the dungeon, you kill monsters, and you bring them up. So that's what he's been doing at night, is going down, destroying the monsters, studying them, learning how to defeat them and stuff. He has this uncanny ability, almost like Mash is just he's just really good at the physical aspect of fighting, of melee. But as the season progresses, he starts awakening certain abilities, not quite magic, but certain abilities. And like, bro, I can't stress how good the show is. Of course, he has the high school bullies, the people that are very uppity. The top three of the school. They're just like, we're the shit. You're beneath us. You got to do what we tell you to do. All of these things, but they have a whole tournament. I think a lot of the things was he was raised. What is it? The dwarves. He's very close to them. So the dwarves and the magicians, the magicians look at the dwarves as lesser than, right? So him and one of the top students, they have a beef because dude shows up to the dwarfs restaurant, talks bad on him, does all this stuff. Will's just like, yo, we'll settle this at the tournament. So it became a whole thing. I will say the ending of that particular arc where he was fighting in that, I watched that scene over and over, like at least 5 times in a row. I'm just like, bro, if anything doesn't get you hyped, this should do it. But oh my God, it's so good. And the season ends again on a very high note as well. You can't help but root for the dude. To me, I'm like, this is what Ashta should. This is what Ashta should have been. Is what Will is. I look at Ashta like him awakening and getting his powers with the sword and stuff. I'm like, Will is a way better, toned down. Like, I appreciate everything. I think that's why I gravitate to this anime. It's like,
this is what it should have.
This is what Black Clover should have been.
Anime should have been like. Gosh darn it.
100%. Now that I say it out loud, I'm describing Will. I'm like, this, he has no power. He's trying to get here. And just like Ashta, I'm trying to be the best, the Wizard King. You don't know magic. You're not going to get there. Like, Will's like, I'm going to go to this tower. It's like, bro, the best of the best go up there. And you can't even cast a spell. Get out of here.
Yeah.
But,
plus it costs, like, whatever those things are.
Yeah. Like the amount of, or not XP, but points you need to get in order to level up there. Like he can't get there, but please check this out. It's totally dope. Once the first season ended, like, it was automatically like the studio's just like, season 2 has been announced, so be on the lookout for that. When that's coming out, I don't know, but in the meantime, like you said, a lot of the anime we've been suggesting is pretty like, a quick, 4 hour. You could probably knock it out over a weekend. If you got time throughout the week, just watch a couple episodes. You can get these knocked out and be spun up for the next one. But the manga, it premiered December 9th, 2020, and that's always crazy to me. It's like, so Japan has been on this stuff for like years, and then it comes over here. I'm just like, oh, what's this new thing? And you go look, and it's, oh, we've been on this stuff, like there's 11 volumes of this stuff. And I'm just like, what?
Well, you got to hope that they don't ever get tired of it before we get the next stuff, because then we don't get it.
Well, I mean, in that aspect, you look at things like Demon Slayer, right? Like, the manga's done, which I think is good, because now you don't have to do this thing with like Naruto and all that while it was still going, where you're just like, well, let's just do filler. And then like Black Clover was going on, and all of a sudden they're fighting something, and then it's just like, why are you guys on a game show? What the hell is going on? So, you just finish the manga. Like, if it's a short manga run like Demon Slayer, cool. And then now every episode is legit, which, people complain about the previous season that just wrapped up. like, oh, it's so dry and boring. Like, if you read the manga, you know the training arc has to go through. Like, they're gonna give you what's in the manga.
Yeah, I didn't think it was boring at all. I thought it was excellent.
No, it's just people that were just like,
They wanted
is
more
this
action.
needed? This could have probably just been a couple episodes. Like, no, because like just let them cook, because what they're setting you
Yeah.
up for.
Well, and I mean, if you, I'm not a fan of the training montage
Right.
that goes.
Oh, see, I like them.
Well, I like the training. I like it when they go in depth because you saw in the very beginning Tanjiro training on the mountain. Okay.
Yep.
And the struggles that he had to go through just to try to get a chance to be what he is.
Right.
Now you see the whole fruition. Now new recruits are following him, watching him, and he's inspiring them. And it just the depth that they
character
go in the
arc.
show with the training, it builds on Tanjiro altogether.
Yeah.
So it's not like, you're just watching him do like push-ups and chop a tree down. You actually get to see, oh, that's how he overcame that. So you get to see that he's, the real build of him, not just all right, Rocky's going to run up the stairs. Like, come on, man. Montages are cool
Right.
if you got to cut time. But if you got character, it's so character-centric. Like, Demon Slayer is very character-centric. And to see him rise to Hashira with these other, you're like, wow, he did come all this way, So I thought that season was so important because it built that up to where he has earned the respect not only through his missions, but through his dedication and his support of other recruits. The other Hashira watch him and they're like, he's better at inspiring these guys than I am.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it shows he's excelled in other ways. Yeah, he may not be as powerful as some of them, but in other ways, his heart has made him, or his drive and his purity has made him such a great, addition to their overall team. I enjoyed to see. I can understand though, people come to Shonen a lot for action. Like you were saying before, turn off my brain. I just want to watch some badass action. But you build on the characters enough, and you can have a whole thing where there's no fighting at all, and it's intense.
Yeah.
Still an intense episode, So I don't know. That's just my take. I'm big on the character and story. To me, if that's really good, it could carry the rest.
Well, I think the biggest thing with that is each of these seasons, you're learning the backstory of the Hashiras, right? And we've learned all the way up, and everybody's looking at the Stone Hashira, wanting to know how he got where he's at, why.
Oh, dude, that was my
his
favorite,
story. Man. I'm like, bro, like he's been through it. So he's so peaceful. He's the strongest of them all. He's so peaceful. Yeah. Doesn't really do anything. But if you haven't seen it, I'm not going to try and spoil too much. But when it gets to the end and Muzan shows up, right, and my man goes all out, and you see him actually unleash, because like in his backstory, you see his temper, and he's a human that actually kills a demon as a human. That was his rage, because this demon was killing the kids.
Yeah.
So as a Hashira, he's trying to I guess be a passive. It's weird. Be a pacifist.
Trying to contain it.
Right.
Yeah.
But when Muzan shows up, knowing that his master, his leader, the person he's been following, has been killed, this dude shows up and he just goes fucking all out. And
sick.
Jesus, like go like if you haven't followed or anything, if you're just like, I'm not into anime, I'm gonna put a timestamp. Just go to this thing and watch this, and then tell me you're not a fan of this show. You know what I'm saying?
That was worth the whole season.
That's what I'm saying. When you Photobo was like, we're gonna make this a 40-minute episode.
Yeah.
And the production, like everybody's like, it's been kind of dry. Like, let them cook. They know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. And the ending, and they're just like, and 3 movies are coming out. You don't think these movies are about to just blow up the box office? Just ridiculous, So again, it's one of those. I just love everything. And again, that was one I was trying to debate, but I'm like, I'm gonna just talk about anime that premiered this year, because obviously, like we said, Solo Leveling, we could talk about that. Demon Slayer, My Hero, we could just easily talk about well-established animes, new seasons. But
we've also talked about those a lot already.
Yeah, we talked about Dan. We talked about
Yep.
we've talked about them, so it was like this was a cool opportunity to bring some up that are have the potential to seriously take off, but they're still in that early stage. So it's a good chance to get in there, get some visuals, get some experience under there, and know what's coming. So
100%. Cool, cool. All right. You guys got anything else you guys want to talk, or are you saving it for the next episode? Things you're looking forward to in 2025, or things that you're watching now, winter season of 2025?
You can go first.
yeah, I don't have anything that I'm still trying to catch up with some of your guys' recommendations. So I'm going to be catching up with some of these shows we just talked about.
Without giving away too much, I will just say that the go-to one, obviously, if you have Netflix, please go check out Sakamoto Days. Story is amazing. You're talking about the world's greatest hitman, almost like John Wick type stuff. Meets a girl, and she's just like, bro, if you do this serial killer stuff or assassin stuff, we're done. So he ends up like just running a little convenience shop, gaining some weight and all of this stuff, almost to where you can't even recognize him anymore. But things happen, and it's almost like I said, John Wick's like, oh, are you back? Are you doing it? I think I'm back in. But the comedy is there, the action is there. It's a good watch, and like it's on Netflix, so you're not having to wait week to week to see episodes. Just go check it out, and that's my one. Before I don't want to get into too much and take away from the next episode, but Sakamoto Days is a good watch.
It's pretty good. I like it.
Mine that like I haven't started watching them yet, but they're on my radar to start watching is Honey Lemon Soda. Looked really cute, and Zenshu. And then the last one, this one looks like it's a romance, but it's called Anyway I'm Falling in Love with You. So those are my three. And it looks like so winter 2025 anime. There, what I've seen, it looks like it's a lot of isekai, and looks like they're starting to pump out some romance again. It's been a long time since I've seen a lot of romance come in. The past few years, I've been seeing a lot more action, comedy, isekais, stuff like that. And now it looks like they're doing like a lot of like slice of life, like romance,
category.
high school days, kind of stuff like that.
I think it's like you guys both mentioned that now that anime is being seen as more than just, a very niche group, they're seeing, oh, there is people out there interested in a lot more. We're going to let some more out there, because it was probably testing the waters and they see like, oh, they're eating up the shonen, all the action. But I think that there's a market. And then when they put something out like Yakuza Fiancé and people pick it up, they're like, oh, okay. If you guys like that, we got a lot of that, and then I've noticed, this is just, I know that we're picking out stuff to look forward to, but I've also noticed a trend with a lot of the older properties being remade or brought back, ones that were pretty significant. So I'm always looking at the horizon to see if they bring back some of the ones I've always loved. Because I know Ranma Half has been highly praised on its rebirth on Netflix. That's a really old school, you're talking 80s, anime that they brought back. And that's probably because, it will be new to a lot of people. But, bringing back old school Gundam like stuff like they did, talking about some of these overlooked animes. I think there was at least two on the list that I saw that were like from 2000 or 1990s and or 2006.
Yeah,
and they remade them and they're re-releasing them, and it's brand new to people. So getting a second life into some of these stories might be good to, we might get to see a lot of these other categories like Jacci said, and we might get to see some old properties that maybe were nostalgic to us as children get some, breath of life into it, and it, we're going to see it again, Yeah.
There's this other one that I started watching. I watched episode 1 of, but I didn't finish it, and I want to go back. It's called the Isekai Adventure Nobody Asked For. The main character is he like dies. He shows up and he's like, I really don't want to be the hero. I just want to die. And then she's like, no, you're gonna be the hero. He's like, no, I like literally just want to die. And she's like, no, you're not gonna die. So then she makes him go out, and I think he has like 1 hit point. Like he rolls like really bad dice. But what he doesn't know, and it's not until like this monster shows up and is like wrapping its like whatever it's called, like a branch around his neck, and he's like, oh yes, sweet death, I finally can die. But then he ends up poisoning it, and he finds out he has this like ability that like if anything touches him, like he can kill them immediately. And he's like, so he can't die, and he's like really upset that he can't die, and he just talks about like, I just want to kill myself. It's like just it's really funny. I like the first episode. It's a little harem. I think some isekais, most isekais are like that, though. You're gonna have a little bit of the harem, but I only watched the first episode. My goal is to like actually finish that this year because I want to see if it's actually good. Only because God bless you.
Thank you.
I thought that was interesting. That came out in 2024, so that one I want to figure out if it's actually good or not. It looked like it had good reviews though.
Well, I'm looking at the title. Like, I don't know what happened, but they just fell in love with these super long, super specific titles and stuff.
Yeah.
They're like
There's
12-word long. You're
there's
like,
one here. Where is it at? The 100 girlfriends who really, 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 really love you. And then
Yeah, I
there's
saw
one.
that. I saw that.
Where's the other one I saw where I'm just like, oh, I may be a guild receptionist, but I'll solo any boss to clock out on time. Like that's the name
yeah,
of the
I
anime.
see, like, that I was reincarnated as a 7th prince, so I can take my time perfecting my magical ability.
I
That
left.
title is so.
I left
weird.
my
That's
A
like
rank.
shit that I
yeah.
say at work
Yeah.
before I like go on lunch. Like,
Yeah, I left my A rank party to help my former students reach the dungeon depths. Like
I saw that one.
Like
yeah.
nobody could just be like, let's come up with a good name for this. Like, oh, I got it.
Yeah.
What's this anime about? This? Well, that's the title. Let it roll it.
It's
Just listen to it.
it's the way
Just
Word.
read the title.
It's the way Word names all your files when you type. If you don't put a title at the top, it just takes the first sentence of the
Oh yeah.
code. It's like,
Yeah.
there's
Where's
the file
that
name.
document I had? Oh, the first sentence. But yeah,
Oh.
2025 is still not even including continuations, new seasons.
Oh yeah,
of
I was about to say there's
well-established-
so many
yeah.
continuations to this year. It's gonna be fire.
One you should be watching is Solo Leveling season 2 because that shit is just
Yeah.
that's next level stuff right there. But a lot of stuff on the way. We don't want to keep you guys too long. We're going on 2 hours. You guys got anything to say to the masses?
Nope. I said everything I wanted to say today.
Okay, so please tap in. We'll be more active on the social media. Like I said, we've all had to take a break and stuff. Everything's going on. We'll be more active, pushing some anime news to you guys, things that are coming down the pipe, rumors, things along those lines. So just stay in touch. And with that being said, hopefully we will see you guys in 2 weeks. If not, we'll let you know what's going on so you know when to expect us. But until then, you guys be safe. Enjoy some anime, hentai if that's your thing. We don't judge over here.
Yeah.
Watch what you
Maturity has
watch.
different levels.
No judgment.
Enjoy what you enjoy. Until next time, peace.
Sayonara.
Ooh, that's a nice one. I like that.